Volkswagen says this is the 7th generation version of the Passat, when in reality it's actually a reskin of the 6th generation model rather than a whole new car. And with this in mind, how does it measure up to its main rivals?
To find out, we're going to be putting it up against the Vauxhall Insignia and Ford Mondeo. But before we get into the comparison stuff, let's first see what's new about the VW. Obviously, there's the design. Every single body panel apart from the roof is new. Also, Volkswagen has fitted the car with some handy features to make your life that little bit easier.
For instance, you can get it with an automatic boot release, which has a camera underneath the bumper, so that when you wave your foot underneath, it automatically opens. That's really handy if you're carrying luggage, or of course got arms full of shopping. Now the boot itself is nice and big, and I know this car is a saloon, but you can fold down the rear seats by pulling this lever if you need to carry longer items. And of course, if you're regularly carrying large loads, you can always get an estate version.
There are more gadgets inside than before, and there's also a redesigned centre console, gear lever surround, door inlays and seats too.
The Passat is available with a wide range of great turbocharged engines, and the diesels come with stop-start to help maximise economy. They work really well with the DSG automatic gearbox, which is really slick and smooth. I have to say, overall, this car is a great long-distance cruiser. I mean, the new suspension setup means it's supremely comfy. You don't feel any bumps in the road at all. And also lots of sound deadening means it's very, very quiet. I mean, all you get is a bit of wind whistle at higher speeds. You can get the car with adaptive chassis control, which uses computer-controlled dampers to offer the best balance between handling and comfort. But you know what? I really don't think it's worth paying the extra for that option, because the standard setup, I mean, it's just so good. I mean, this car goes around corners extremely well, but if I do have a complaint, it's the fact that the steering feels a little bit inert, and overall, while it's very, very capable, it's just not really that much fun. As for the downsides, well, I'm going to have a moan about the seat bases, because they don't seem to have any lateral support, which means it feels a bit like you're sitting on a bench and you kind of roll about a bit in the corners. Also, I have to say that some of the materials lower down, such as here, just below the dash, they feel a little bit cheap, and as a result, it doesn't feel quite as upmarket in here as in a Vauxhall Insignia.
That's right, not only is the Vauxhall more stylish on the outside, it's nicer inside too, although only for front passengers, as rear headroom is compromised by that sloping roof. As for the driving experience, the Insignia is very comfy thanks to its smooth ride, and although not as quiet at speed as a super insulated Passat, it's still a great long distance cruiser.
However, if your commute takes in lots of country back roads, you might want to look elsewhere, because the Insignia isn't actually that much fun to drive. I mean, it is stable, don't get me wrong, but it's just not as engaging or as much fun as a Ford Mondeo, and part of the reason for that is the fact that the steering is a little bit lifeless. I mean, it's quite numb and it's not very responsive either. I mean, if I wiggle the wheel like that, it's not actually really doing anything.
All this means the Insignia isn't as good a car as the Passat. So then, that's one down and one to go. Ford has also recently updated the Mondeo. However, unlike with the VW, exterior changes are minimal and extend little beyond new lights and a reshaped bonnet. It's the same story inside. In fact, the only thing that stands out is a new centre console layout. That said, the Ford's cabin features more soft touch materials than the Passat, and it's roomier in the back, while the hatchback boot is larger and more practical.
The Mondeo really is a cracking car to drive. Basically, that's because it does it all. I mean, on the motorway, it's quiet, it's refined, and it's very comfortable. Yet, when you hit a back road such as this, it's actually a lot of fun as well. And the reason for that is the suspension is really well judged. It gives the car loads of grip. But my favourite bit has to be the steering, because it's just so sharp and gives you the confidence to really throw it at bends.
Not everything is rosy though. The Mondeo's engine range isn't as impressive as the Passat's. While running costs are similar, it won't hold its value as well from resale time.
So then, which of these cars comes out on top? Well, the Passat has a better image, and the changes make it an even more capable and refined car. But it just lacks that driver appeal of the Mondeo, and this plus the fact that it's marginally bigger means the Ford wins. But only just.